If you are stuck in the exhausting cycle of pushing and crashing, barely recovering, I want to tell you that I've been there, and I know what it feels like to have your world shrink because of chronic fatigue syndrome, post-exertional malaise, food reactions. I know exactly what it feels like to watch your world get smaller and smaller until it feels like you've disappeared inside it. But I want to tell you that there is a way out of this crash cycle. And today I'm going to walk you through the steps that I use and share how I rebuilt my life from scratch. Now, there was a time when I was really driven. I was always on the go, and I had the mindset that I thought I could just push through anything, that I was always very productive. I was an overachiever. And I was constantly chasing the next goal, but my body had other plans. It started with these little things like I would just get exhausted, and it was these strange reactions, like I felt completely wiped out even after normal activities, and before I knew it, my entire system crashed. And I became housebound and eventually completely bedridden. And it wasn't for days or weeks. I was bedridden for 4 years. 4 long years of missing out on my life. That's 4 years of me missing out on independence, social life, career, freedom. I couldn't even tolerate basic daily tasks. And at my worst, I couldn't even sit up. I couldn't prepare my own meals. I couldn't shower without assistance. And I needed help with even the most basic things. But I realized that I couldn't wait for my body to magically bounce back. I had to actually start from zero. And my next big goal wasn't going back to work or running errands. It was actually simply sitting up in bed. That was my first milestone. And I just want to share with you how you can stop the crash cycle in chronic fatigue syndrome. And I just want to share the things that finally changed my life. The first thing is that I learned to pace, real pacing. I used to overdo it on my good days because I didn't want to waste time, but that's exactly what was keeping me stuck. And once you find your baseline, you can come up with a routine, and that's exactly what helps with those. I had to relearn how to do less than I thought I could handle, and that's where I finally started to build stability and avoid those crashes. Now, the second thing I did was that I had to regulate my nervous system daily. No one told me that my body wasn't just exhausted. It was actually stuck in a chronic survival mode. So I had to retrain my nervous system every single day. I began by slowly reintroducing foods, even activities and environments. I had to do this strategically so I wouldn't get a nervous system reaction. Things like chemicals and EMFs. But little by little, my body shifted out of this survival mode. It was in a chronic fight, flight, freeze response. Now, the third thing that I did was that I expanded my world slowly. So think of it like a bubble. My world had shrunk so much because, I had just isolated myself so much. But as I worked on the brain rewiring and nervous system regulation, that bubble slowly expanded. And I didn't just rush back to work or exercise. I carefully built my capacity over time. I started with small things like cooking my own meals, running short errands, going across town, and without a crash. But in the beginning, there were some subtle signs that my body was healing. Like, I remember the first sign I noticed that I started to get a little bit more energy. And I would get this energy, it would come and go, but I noticed that it was less, I was having less of a crash. And then I was also getting less food reactions, and that was a big sign because I was just down to 2 foods. I was less reactive to my environment, so I had been reacting to all sorts of chemical exposures, things like fragrances, cleaning products. And then I was slowly getting my appetite back. Food finally felt nourishing. For once, I started to have an appetite and I wasn't afraid to eat. And I noticed that my hands were no longer freezing all the time. They were actually warm again. And then I noticed that I could tolerate the smaller exposures, like when I went on a walk. I could actually walk longer distances. And that was a huge milestone because that's where I started my recovery process, was walking every single day. And then I noticed that I was resting deeper. So that was just amazing. I mean, for me, resting was amazing. My life became more predictable and more stable. And I stopped getting sick as often, because before I was constantly catching every virus and every infection that came through the kitchen door. And so my immune system balanced and my world expanded. I could finally live life without fear of a crash. So what can you do right now to stop the crash cycle? Well, if you're watching this, I want you to know that it really doesn't matter where you're starting from. Maybe you're bedridden. Maybe you're housebound. And maybe you're working, but you're living in a constant fear of the next crash. But no matter what, the process is still the same. You're going to start smaller than you think you need. And you'll use these nervous system tools daily, things like breath work, visualizations, meditations, and then gentle movement, and then gradual exposure. And you'll increase them slowly but steadily. Start with what you can do. Maybe it's just for 5 minutes, and then build from there. And I know this sounds like a lot, and it's a lot to take in, so I'm just going to drop a few of the key steps in the description below, because I know what it's like to have all that brain fog. Been there. And I know it's rough. And I've gone 4 years of being completely bedridden to building a full life. Driving again, traveling, I'm able to work full time, and I'm able to eat without a reaction. So I want to let you know that it is possible, but it didn't happen overnight. This process does take time. It can actually take weeks and sometimes even months to actually fully stabilize your system. But one thing is for sure, healing is possible. So if I can do this, you can too. So I just want to give you some hope, and if this speaks to you and you're looking for maybe some extra support, many people have found that our recovery system program incredibly is helpful for regulating their nervous system. It's actually a clear step-by-step system that guides you through week by week, and it shows you exactly what you're going to be focusing on each day. So this way you can confidently and intentionally take manageable steps towards breaking free from chronic symptoms. So if you're like me and you put high value on your time, you know that healing needs to be done strategically. So if you're ready to calm down that chronic stress response and lower your symptoms and start maybe bringing back some things that you've been forced to avoid, things like eating your favorite foods or exercising or driving or traveling or even going back to work full time, I do want to personally invite you to join our recovery system program. When you join, you're going to get 6 months of personal support inside a private Facebook group. You'll have the ability to ask unlimited questions. You'll have all the tools that you need to finally break free from chronic fatigue syndrome and sensitivities. And if you're tired of trying to figure this out all alone, and you're actually ready to get real results, go ahead and book your free discovery call using the link in the description. Now, on that call, we're going to create a personalized plan just for you and to see if this program is going to be a good fit. And spots are limited because we do want to keep the group small just to give you personal attention. But I want to show you exactly how our program actually works. And I want to do it, briefly, but I'll do this step by step. So inside the guide, you are going to get 4 key milestones that make this recovery process sustainable. And we have to do it very strategically and, most importantly, personalized to you. These milestones aren't just theory. They're actually the same steps that I use to recover from chronic fatigue, extreme sensitivities, brain fog, after nearly a decade of struggling. So now I'm blessed to actually help other people do this as well. So the first milestone, we're going to be creating your brain rewiring plan. We're going to build you a personalized plan with clear, specific goals to match your unique symptoms and needs, so you always know what you're going to be focusing on. For example, if your goal is to go back to work full time, or maybe it's just to maybe enjoy your favorite foods again, we're going to get really specific. Maybe you want to eat whole foods without reacting, or maybe you want to, start eating pizza again. Everybody's goals are different, but we're going to help you map out your unique path to get there. Now, the second milestone is to rewire those limiting thought patterns. We've actually identified over 50 unhealthy thought loops that can be keeping you stuck. So you'll complete this detailed assessment of these common thought patterns that we've seen in our program so that you can break free from fear-based thinking and finally step out of that chronic stress response. The milestone number 3 is a personalized 7-step brain rewiring exercise. You're going to get a customized version of our proven 7-step brain rewiring exercise, and it's going to be tailored specifically towards your symptoms and your goals. This is one of the most powerful tools in calming down your nervous system and lowering that stress response so that you can safely reintroduce things back into your life. And we want to do this so that you have confidence. Obviously, because that's where milestone 4 comes in, which is reintroduction. This is where life really normalizes and things get really exciting. We do help you strategically reintroduce foods, places, people, environments, things that may have triggered you before. Maybe it's EMFs or chemicals, anything that you've had to avoid. We reintroduce all of this while using the brain rewiring tools that you've learned to keep your nervous system calm and balanced. And actually, this phase is just all about doing it safely and intentionally so that you can get back to living again without triggering any kind of setbacks. So this program is not just about managing symptoms at all. I mean, we're really going to help you rebuild your life from the inside out so that you can create real freedom again. You also get 24/7 access to unlimited questions. And this will be for 6 months. You get 6 months of personal support inside of a private Facebook group. And you can ask as many questions as you want. If you have 1 question or 70, your questions are going to get answered. We're here to help. You'll also get exclusive tools and resources. You'll get nervous system regulation exercises, guided visualizations, brain rewiring tools, and a recovery tracking template to help you stay on track so you can get the most out of your exposure and your training. So I don't know what your goal is, but if it's to go back to work full time or eat at a restaurant, I've even had clients tell me that they're able to ride roller coasters again. It's really not magic. It's just how God designed your brain to heal. And with the right guidance, you can actually overcome these health challenges and not live in avoidance and fear. We do not teach avoidance. So if you're ready to explore this for yourself, then go ahead and book the free discovery call using the link in the description. And we're going to see if we're a good fit to work together. And if not, I'm still going to give you some free actionable tips to help you get started on your healing journey. And I am so thankful that no matter what, I'm going to give you actionable steps. I'm so thankful for you, and I just pray for your healing. And I really do want to encourage you to try out the program because we do keep the group small intentionally to provide personal attention. So you don't have to figure it out alone. I'd love to walk on this journey with you. Just go ahead and book your free discovery call, and I look forward to seeing you. God bless you.